So today we'll be presenting our app called Read Between the Lines, which lets you see what people are really thinking when they tweet. We use the Twitter API, and we're able to get a user's last 100 tweets. And the reason we chose 100 statically versus dynamically is we just thought for comparison's sake that it would work better to compare 100 to 100 versus somebody going in and putting in their own numbers. Once our backend has run the get user timeline, we have an array filled with 100 tweets, and that's when the fun really begins. So here's what it looks like. Let's take, of course, and see what he's really thinking. The breakdown is something like this. He calls himself the 45th President of the United States. That everybody is allowed to have their own description. Sentiment scale rating comes out as a 67. You'll see comparatively a little bit later when we go with other people what that means. So we said that sky's the limit. He's a pretty positive guy, as it turns out, based on these are all the positive words coming from his tweets, all the negative words coming from his tweets. And amazingly, the relative tweeting grade level is 11. So pretty smart guy, as it turns out. And down below that is his last 100 tweets. Let's see. CNN breaking news. What do you think? Negative 45. Okay, so all news is bad news, it turns out. How about Kanye West? I'm showing you this one because relative tweeting grade level is 4. Using not too many big words. One more? What do you think the Dalai Lama says? Look at all the positivity. Off the scale, so much so we named his rating Dalai Lama. So anybody who comes out above 100 is called Dalai Lama. They're that smart, that useful. And so here's a little bit of how it works. First of all, we took the challenge to set the whole app up using just React. There's no Redux. And let me tell you, for all of you who know Redux, you learn to really appreciate it when you're not using it. Very, very beneficial. Karma, what else did we do?
So the sentiment analysis is using a library called Sentiment, and what that does is that it takes a list of the positive words and the negative words and it weights it out in a comparative scale. The sentiment numbers you see are calculated to allow us to relatively compare the numbers or the sentences, and in this case, the tweet does not skew the feedback, especially in cases in 100 versus like 100. So we had to think. So some people have 100 tweets, some people only have 10. So if we just did it by the positive words or versus the negative words, then that would be like give you a different kind of comparison. So we decided to let's use a comparative scale, which measures the positive words against the negative words, and we use a library called Flesch-Kincaid for that, and we also use a syllable analysis, which takes in the words and analyzes the syllables and takes it against the Flesch-Kincaid library and does it. So this is our app. We hope you like it. There's some things that we look forward to improving. Like we wanted to add like some graphs to measure out the data of positive words versus negative word and make it look a little prettier.
There's one other functionality we want to do specifically for Donald Trump is times a day to see how positive or negative somebody's tweets are at certain times a day. So when you go to tweet at 2 o'clock in the morning, you'll know that maybe that's not such a good idea.
Yeah. All right. We hope you enjoy our app.
Thank you.